I'm Media Ward and welcome to a special video. This is Doctor Who Season 7 worst to best episodes of 2013. The current season has just finished. This will include both of the Christmas specials. And the reason I want to do this video is because I've been in a bit of a Doctor Who mood lately. You know, lots of cool stuff's coming out. They released a poster for the 50th anniversary. I got a couple months away until the 23rd of November, and we get to see, of course, the Day of the Doctor, which I'm extremely looking forward to. Really excited for Doctor Who this year. It's a big year for it. It has ups and downs, I think, perfectly honest, but you know, I've done this list, I had a good think about it, and this is my official list of my worst to best, and hopefully you'll agree upon that. But I'll just say before I do this little video that I've done reviews on all the episodes apart from one, which I'm going to mention. So there's going to be a playlist linked in the video somewhere on the video. There'll be a playlist link so you can see all my official reviews for each video. So if you want to check them out, go ahead, and you can see my first-hand kind of reactions after watching the episodes. So awesome stuff. So let's begin. So at number 15, the bottom of the barrel, the worst episode of season 7 in my personal opinion is The Crimson Horror. This by far is one of the worst episodes I have seen in Doctor Who of the new series. It's just terrible. Lazy script writing, a weak villain, the Doctor's barely in it, just the whole plot predictable, not scary, stupid, just annoying. All these words come into the actual episode, and it's just awful. And to top all that of a weak-ass episode, you got a terrible ending with a little child saying, "I'm going to tell my dad you're a time traveller." That is the most cringeworthy, most insulting slap in the face I've ever seen from an episode. Just awful. The Crimson Horror is a terrible episode. I do not like it, and that is why it deserves the worst episode of season 7 of Doctor Who. The Crimson Horror. 14th place on the list is The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe. This is the Christmas special for the 2011 Christmas Day episode. This was actually one of the last episodes from technically it's classed from the season 7 box set, but it is one of the last episodes we had for a long time until we got to, you know, the first half of season 7 part 1. Now to think about this, this is the last episode we're going to get for a long time, being that fact, and yeah, it did not deliver very well. I remember watching Christmas Day thinking, you know, this is atrocious, this is terrible, really, really bad. The opening was really good. I love the idea of the Doctor's on a spaceship, whatever. He's, you know, he hasn't got the TARDIS on, he's got a spacesuit, and he's just jumping into orbit. Fantastic opening, really well done. And then when you get to the main meat of the story, it's just like, what am I watching? Seriously. I mean, you got characters I don't care about, you got kids I don't care about. You got this widow character which bumped into the Doctor, and he seems to have involved in her life, kind of thing, and it's just boring. It's just nothing's happening in the episode at all. And then you get this weird trees that can time travel somehow, and you get guys that can beam up to their spaceship when they're destroying, terraforming the planet or whatever, knocking down trees, whatever kind of thing. And there's just so many, like, there's things in the episodes they can do it at the last second to get out of danger, but yet they don't do it right at the start. And it's like, I'm a fan, I can let things slide, you know, I'm a little bit biased in some episodes, but I cannot forgive the lazy writing of this episode. It's atrocious. So the ending's good. I like the idea the Doctor is, you know, revealing, say, "Hi, I'm Pond, you know, I'm back," kind of thing. I'm not actually dead after all, after faking his death in season 6. That was good. Opening is good. Ending was good. The rest of it is terrible. So yeah, awful episode. Did not enjoy it, and just some really cringe-worthy moments for sure in it. So yeah, The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe. Episode 13 is The Rings of... I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. Yes, it's the second episode of season 7 part 2. It is the one with the girl singing to the actual planet, which is weird. The episode's got some good bits in it. I like the opening, I like the idea of the Doctor trying to figure out who Clara is, the past with the parents kind of thing, the leaf. I like the idea of that. I like the idea that the speech that he makes to the actual parasite, you know, planet thing. There is some good likeable moments in it, and even the soundtrack's fantastic in the episode. But it's just a really weak episode for a second kind of future spectacular kind of thing, you know, compared to all the other seasons we've got a future, we got a past episode, got basically a past and a future, always the same thing with a new companion. And this is a first future. It wasn't done very well, I don't think. You know, it wasn't edge gripping, it wasn't exciting. We got kind of like a double twist kind of thing with the whole mommy being not the actual villain, it's actually the planet, and it's like, wow, the Doctor's going to give us the planet, that's stupid, you know. And it's just, again, some of the decisions, some of the things that were made in the episode were not the smart decisions, and it's just not a good episode. Didn't really enjoy it. There is some likeable bits in it. It's not the worst episode by far, but not very enjoyable, not a memorable episode at all. I might watch this if I'm in a mood, if the mood strikes me, but yeah, that is my opinion on this episode. Episode 12 is The Power of Three. This is, I think, one of the last episodes of Season 7 Part 1 with Amy and Rory. Now, I do actually quite like this episode. I mean, it is starting to get a little better now, but it is still quite a weak one in terms of what it offers. It's more of a drama episode. It's the last episode before Amy and Rory leave the show, of course. And it's a nice drama segment, you know, showing their lives, you know, Rory in work and, you know, Amelia doing her thing. And it's not, I like the idea of the conflict between living two lives, living the life of the Doctor and living an ordinary life. And I like the idea that the drama of that and the conflict. I quite like it. It introduced a couple of characters. I like some of the ideas in it. The Doctor was quite funny. He was quite, you know, spontaneous in it. But the actual build-up was not satisfactory. I like the idea of the cubes appearing up and, you know, being this kind of like, ooh, what are the cubes? It's counting down. Interesting tense building, but what we got is a very weak, quick end to a solution. Like the Doctor, oh, there's the ship, blew it up, done, kind of thing. It's just, you know, not a well-driven kind of ending. I want a good kind of interesting, you know, punch ending, and it's a bit of a shame we didn't get that. I felt the villains were not the main focus, which they sort of have to be in a way. That gives the Doctor a bit more of an interesting stake at hand kind of thing. But I just felt it was more of a drama episode with a quick, easy villain to kind of, you know, entertain us in the background. Power of Three, not the worst episode, but not a great one either. So yeah. Number 11 is The Nightmare in Steel. This is The Return of the Cybermen, redesigned, formed. This one was not the worst Cybermen story I've seen with the new series. There's been much better stories, there's been much worse stories, but this one did not fully deliver, but it did have some good things I liked about it. I like the idea that the actual Cybermen are a bit more quicker and smarter now. I like the idea of the actual throwing the kind of little Cybermat things, slug things, and instantly transforms into it. That's quite cool, interesting. They've gone past the idea that Cybermen are not converting humans no more, they're converting all forms of species, life forms, aliens, all sorts of stuff. I like the idea that makes it a bit more intergalactic, makes it a more open world. I like the idea of that. I like the Doctor's fighting two different sides of himself. I like that side of it. I like when the Doctor has to challenge his kind of alter ego, evil self. I like how it's played in the chess game and the internal monologues. Very interesting. But everything else was just a bit meh, in all fairness, with the kids in this episode. Luckily, they didn't, you know, annoy me too much. They did, you know, kind of brushed them off quite quickly in the corner. We did get a couple of characters that kind of comic relief. I felt Clara's character in the extra episode was, I felt fair play to her. She did try to stand up, she did try and find a solution, but in all likeliness she should have really got killed in the episode by the way she was doing some of the decisions. I felt it wasn't a particularly a memorable episode of the Cyberman story, which is a deep shame considering we've had some really fantastic ones. Of course, the best two ones, the two-parter in season 2, that was really emotional, that was really edge-gripping. It's like the idea of cheating death. This one, there was no real stake, there's no real edge kind of thing to it, and I just felt in the end of the episode I'm not really, you know, going to remember it. It's not going to be something I'm going to be thinking about in a couple of weeks' time, unlike other episodes that I've seen. But at the same time, it's not the worst episode. I've seen much worse in the current season of the Cybermen. Hopefully they will redeem themselves in the, of course, this year's Christmas special, which they confirmed to be the new villain. Well, confirmed to be the villain in the last episode of Matt Smith. So do not disappoint me with the Cybermen there, kind of thing. So there you go. So there you go, number 11, Nightmare in Steel. Number 10 is The Angels Take Manhattan. I felt this was not the worst episode that I've seen. I just felt there's a lot of problems with what they did, especially emotionally. This is the final episode with Amy and Rory, and it has to be crucial. Rose Tyler's exit leave was fantastic. Even Martha's was good. Donna's, holy shit. This one did have a good emotional edge in it for a final, you know, goodbye, but it definitely screwed with you in some places. The scene where they just jumped off, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. The soundtrack, the emotional stake of it, brilliant. And then we got cut to them in the graveyard, then they got taken away again, and it's like, you can't really do that. You can't expect to build up to that emotional scene, then just say they're alive, then just say they're not alive again back in the past. You can't do that. That's just going to screw up your emotional connection with the character, and by that I was kind of thrown off a little guard and thinking, okay, well, what's happening here? I don't really understand. And then, there's so many continuities in that sense of the Doctor can't travel back to save them. I guess some of the explanation with the second viewing that I did, but in all fairness, like a meme I saw a couple of days ago saying, why don't they just take a taxi and meet the Doctor at some location? It's just little things like that kind of poke holes in it, and it has to, unfortunately. Even River Song's kind of, when they're disappearing, River Song didn't have an emotional kind of breakdown, which I would have expected seeing the last time you're ever going to see your parents ever again. And there's just some continuities and some bits in it which weren't fully, resolved in a sense. I felt like this is a 2-part episode mashed into one, just to get it over and done with. I felt it should have been a full-on 2-parter, savour it, give it a good emotional, finale. But it didn't, and the episode's not bad. I will watch it again. It's enjoyable in some aspects. I love the End of the Angels, like River Song being it, but they just kind of screwed up a little bit, and some wrong decisions definitely were not well done in the episode.